from Kwesi as well. I'm still holding on for others. Just give me a thumbs up. That would make me confirm that you're also here with me and not just drop your phone somewhere. So let's do that quickly. I, Olainka, Larry, Prosper, and Olawale as well. Okay, great. Thank you for the thumbs up, Prosper, as well. So you're welcome to this Tech Career series by Amdari. I'm very glad to welcome you all to this session. This session is going to be a very interesting one. So you should look forward to it, and I'll be glad to have you still till the end of this particular session. I'm just going to start sharing my screen very quickly so that we get into the discussion for the day. Okay, please confirm that you can see my screen. If you can see my screen, okay, thank you. I have Kwame and Prosper as well, and Olumide. All right, I'm glad to welcome you all to the session once again. In this particular Tech Career series by Amdari, we'll be talking about the everyday work of a data analyst in UK companies. Trust me, this is going to be a very interesting session. Before I proceed, has anybody heard the word data analyst before? You don't actually need to know the meaning, but have you heard about the term data analyst or data analysis? Anyone? If you have, just give me a thumbs up. If you haven't, you can give a thumbs down as well. No, there's no wrong response. Okay, thank you, Dari and Prosper as well. All right, so this session would be majorly focusing on this particular tech skill called data analysis. But before I move on proper to the business of the day, let me introduce myself to you. So I'm sure you want to know, who is this very person speaking to us? What is her name? What is her role at Amdari? How does she belong here? So yes, my name is Moriam Adegbite. I am a data analyst and also a pharmacist, by the way. I have close to 5 years of experience working as a data analyst. At Amdari here, I work as a data analytics specialist, and I'm proficient in the use of multiple data analytics tools. Could be Excel, SQL, R, Python, Power BI, and Tableau, and many others like that. And in the course of my career journey, I've been glad to have been able to work on multiple projects across different fields, across supply chain, logistics, healthcare as well. Of course, my background comes from health, so I've been able to work on such projects. And by virtue of Amdari and also before Amdari, I'm glad to have been able to mentor close to 100 of people, or more than 100 people, into getting into the data analysis profession. Yes, so beyond my technical expertise as well, I'm very much committed to social impact. I'm a lover of the Sustainable Development Goal 3. So if you don't see me working on something technical related, I'm doing something social impact related. So yes, that's me. If you're excited about this session, can you give me a reaction? Very soon I'll start asking you to unmute, but before that, let's still work with the reactions. Thank you, Noella Oyewole as well. I can see we're having more people join us. So if you're joining us, I'm glad to have you on this call. Once again, my name is Moriam Adegbite, and in the course of this discussion, we'll majorly be focusing on the everyday work of a data analyst. So yes, let's get into it. What exactly are we discussing today? Like I said, the everyday work of a data analyst, talking about your pathway to securing a job as a data analyst in big 2025. We'll also be talking about the Amdari Work Experience internship and a very special offer to you for joining this session. So try as much as possible to stay till the end so that you can be part of that offer, right? All right, so the data analyst job market, let us set the pace for today's discussion. We're talking about data analysis. Before we go in to talk about what we do, let's try to talk about, are we even needed? Is the work essential or not? So a quick search on the website or even LinkedIn will tell you that there are more than 20,000 job openings for data analysts currently. And LinkedIn will even tell you that just for today alone, we have over 1,000 that has been posted just for UK alone in 2025. And for these roles, they span across multiple industries. Could be healthcare, could be finance, could be entertainment related, could be technology related, and could be retail as well. The roles span across multiple industries, but these five will ultimately be in high demand at the moment currently. And there's a reason for this, right? It is because the UK currently is dealing with a chronic shortage of data skills across different industries or across different roles. We have seen founders talk about the fact that the companies nowadays recognize the value of data. Of course, there's no company now that would not say that data is not important to them. But then, do they have the people? Do they have the do they have people, do they have employees that are able to work on this vast amount of data that is being generated daily? Even from your personal self, think about the amount of data you generate by yourself alone daily. From your activity from the beginning of the day to the end. Just try to think back at it and see how much data you're even generating. Coming from the fact that okay, you are making use of your mobile phone, you are making use of multiple applications that collect lots of data backend that is being used. And you as a personal self to the work you do every day or the way your body is programmed in such a way that okay, you wake up at a particular time, you know that by this particular time you'd have dressed up, by this particular time you're out of the house, you're going to work, and all of those things. So we generate lots of data at the moment, and um, research has shown that there is a chronic lack of data skills the across workforce in several countries, including the UK. And specifically, it says that this lack of data skills is costing the country about 57.2 billion pounds per year, according to the research that has been carried out. So it is very much important that we know that data analysts are not going extinct in any time soon. Yeah, let me put it down in any time soon. So yes, let me ask you now, what does a data analyst actually do? Think about it. What does a data analyst actually do? It's very easy to say that, okay, companies need data analysts, the shortage of data skills, but what do they even do before we even go to talk about the everyday work? And I'll make use of some visualizations to make it very seamless for us to understand the work of a data analyst. All right, starting from this very data that we're seeing here, it says where would people like to travel to when would they like to travel? So if you're looking at these data sets, I'll just want a few people to probably just raise up their hand and tell me what they can understand by the data that we're seeing. You can also uh, give your comments in the chat box as well. But I'll be glad if you're able to raise your hand so that we can make this discussion as interactive as possible. All right, anybody, what are you seeing on the screen? What kind of data are you seeing on the screen? What kind of insights are you able to deduce from what you're seeing on the screen? Just any form of information that you are able to grab. I'm going to start calling names if nobody's responding. Okay, Uchebo, let me start with you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Loud and clear.
Okay, so I can see data that is, this seems to be like an Excel or a spreadsheet rather, and it contains information about travels, their destination, timestamp, um, if they are how they are traveling. Okay, first of all, let me start with the first column. Says timestamp, their gender, their destinations, and the time of travel. It seems like the month represented by numbers, and if they are traveling by as a group or as an individual, whether they are traveling alone. If they are traveling as a group, Are they traveling with friends or with family? If then their mode of transport. This seems like holiday sort of data, holiday related data. That is much I can deduce from the
Okay,
data.
great. Thank you, Uchebo. Thank you for that wonderful response. I want to believe that every other person will have similar responses to what you just gave now. So now we can see that information is just showing us some sort of spreadsheets, data that has been put on some sort of spreadsheet package, showing timestamp, gender, destination, and all of those things. But then it is very difficult to deduce what's inside, to deduce insights from this particular data set, right? From the way the data is being presented to us on the screen. Now let's take a look at this instead. Anybody. So can anybody just raise their hand again and tell me what information or what insights they're able to deduce from the dashboard they are seeing on the screen? Somebody else. Any other person? Let's do it quickly. Okay, Prosper.
Well, all right. What I can deduce from this chart, from this, what's it called now? Uh, is it Power BI now or
You
Power
can just
BI?
call it a
Yeah.
dashboard or
Okay,
a report.
dashboard. Yeah.
Anyway.
It shows the number of. I think it was gotten from the other one from the spreadsheet where it shows the first one is a chart that shows the number of respondents per month, and it shows that at month 7, that's I think July, we have the highest number of respondents, which shows that at that particular month we have the higher number of person responding. Then also here we saw um, responded by destination, where Paris has the highest respondents, people going to Paris. And also we have the donut charts that groups um, that differentiate between those traveling alone or in groups. We saw that those traveling alone have a higher percentage compared to those traveling groups. And also, yeah, we saw also a donor chart that grouped them into friends, family, and those traveling alone. Those traveling alone has, yeah, no, sorry, those traveling family has a higher percentage of 42. And the mode of transportation, we saw that those that hire the car has a higher percentage, which is 17 of the entire charts or donor charts.
Okay, thank you for that, Prosper. That was very insightful. Let me have Oyewole as well before I continue.
Yeah, so yeah, my name is Oyewa. From this dashboard, we can I can see that there are some cards and then also some cards. So from the cards, it shows that we have total respondents of 373, and then 56% are male, while for and then there is like Liza for a particular month, and then this line chart total respondents. I think this batch total respondent by destination. It shows that the respondent actually traveled more to Paris, why it's actually the lowest. And then from the note chart that we have below, we have the type of activity. People that traveled by individual are actually more than that.
Okay, thank you for that, Oyewole. You and Prosper gave very insightful comments about what we're seeing on the screen. We could see 370 total respondents. Out of these, we had 169 choosing Paris as their preferred destination, and 40% saying that they would prefer to travel with family. So in summary, we can really see how easy it is for us to deduce the information on these reports compared to the data sets we had earlier, this one. So this kind of like summarizes the work a data analyst does. Try to make use of this to make it easy for us to grasp. So a data analyst is someone who is able to collect meaningful information, work on it, do some sort of data cleaning, data transformation, validation, all of those things that are necessary in between to ensure that the data that they'll be working with is accurate before they can now do their some sort of analysis, some sort of technical analysis or statistical analysis for them to be able to convert it into meaningful insights that is very much easy for people to understand. So in summary, that is the work a data analyst does. So yes, from what we've seen, I've seen that somebody collected the data, right? It was a survey data. The data is being collected. The data has been validated, meaning that you've been able to ensure that your data set that you're working with is accurate, is complete before you now proceed to your analysis. In the course of your analysis, you make use of the necessary tools for you to be able to uncover some trends or some patterns depending on the business problem or the problem or the question you're trying to answer. And from the previous visualization, for example, now we saw that Paris shows the highest number and the highest total number of responded by months is 84, right? So with this now, we could see that we could see some trends in the information, in the data that has been given to us. And then we are able to make use of a form of compelling dashboard or report that is very easy for people, our stakeholders, to understand what the data is talking about. Then also we have data analysts that work cross-functionally with other teams. For example, it could be that you're working with the marketing team of an organization, you're working with the finance team, you're working with the product teams, or you're even working with high-level stakeholders like the CEO, such that you're able to translate their data findings into actionable recommendations for the organization. So in essence, that is what a data analyst does. And the data analysts make use of multiple tools to be able to convert their data into insights, right? And these tools are what I would like to call the big four. We know things like big four organizations, all of those things. So in data too, there's something called the big four tools. And it comes first about we have our spreadsheets packages in form of our Excel or Google Sheets. Then also we have our database tools where we are able to make use of things like the PostgreSQL, the MySQL, Microsoft SQL Server, Google BigQuery, and every other form of database tools that are out there. This is just some examples, right? We have more of these spreadsheet packages, but most commonly you see organization making use of probably Excel or Google Sheets, as the case may be. Then also we have your data visualization tools like the Tableau, the Power BI, and also the Looker Studio, which was formerly called the Google Data Studio, right? Then lastly is the programming tools. We'll see organizations that make use of some sort of programming tools, could be Python or it could be R. R, most especially when you're working with an organization that does lots of academic research, they make use of these tools. But of course, if you're just starting to learn, if you're just starting to get into the space, you don't actually have to like learn all of these tools at once. But as you progress one way or the other, you find yourself expanding your tool stack, you find yourself learning more tools, or find yourself becoming much more advanced, much more proficient in the use of some specific tools. All right, so moving on, I'm going to make use of this data analysis cycle to talk about the everyday work of a data analyst. The key thing we are actually discussing today, what does a data analyst do? What do you do? Or what do they do on an everyday basis? What do we do on an everyday basis? So stay tuned or stay in touch, continue to listen so that we can get some insights on what a data analyst does on a day-to-day basis. And I'm going to start with what we called the ask phase. So there are multiple phases in the data analysis cycle. The first one is the ask. So by the time a data analyst wants to work on a particular project, you don't just jump straight into the data. There must be a reason for it, and that comes from the ask phase. You, you as a person, you as a data analyst, has responsibility to be able to ask effective questions. They have to be able to define the problem. What exactly is the business problem that we're trying to solve? They're able to communicate with others to find out what exactly are their pain points. So for example, now let's say that you are working with an organization and they want some insights on how to go about some sort of marketing that is being done, or probably some people are leaving, they are experiencing some sort of customers churn. There's a decrease in number of customers. You don't just jump straight into, okay, I'm working as a data analyst. Please give me every data that is in the organization. Let me work on it. No, it doesn't work that way. You have to be able to define the business problem. And that is what every data analysis process would start with, defining the business problem. And also, this business problem comes to the fact that one problem might lead to the other. It comes from you being able to ask effective questions to the stakeholders. Stakeholders could be people in different teams in the organization. It could be the CEO, it could be people in the product team, it could be people in the marketing teams, or any form of team, or even probably within your own technical team as well. Some sort of questions might arise, right? That would lead to you working on a data set. So the next phase I'd like to talk about is what we call the prepare phase. So now you've understood what the problem is. The next thing is being able to collect the data that can be used to gain insights into what the problem is and be able to prefer strategic recommendations. So in the prepare phase, you're understanding how the data is being generated and is collected. In some cases, it's not every time it will be the data analyst that would collect data. Data could come from other sources as well. But most importantly, you understand what the data is, and you also understand how the data is also collected. And next, also under prepare, you are able to identify and use the different data formats and probably different data types or different data structures. So your data could come in different forms as well. It can be your normal spreadsheet file like XLXS. It could be a CSV file. It could be a JSON file and all of those things. Sometimes your data might even come in a PDF format. Are you able to extract what you need from those kind of PDFs? So in the prepare phase, a data analyst on an everyday basis is ensuring that they are able to get the data that they will need to answer the business problem or whatever question that they want to find answers to. And under the prepare phase as well, a data analyst on an everyday basis is ensuring that their data is credible. You don't just get data for the sake of getting it. You're ensuring that the data that you're working with is credible enough. The data is unbiased. The data is also organized. The data is also protected as well. So all of these things come under the prepare phase. And next, or after prepare, we have things like the process, right? You've understood what the business problem is. You've asked effective questions. You've gotten your data. You've been able to prepare your data, ensuring that the data is credible, it is unbiased, and all of those things. Next thing now is processing. It's not every time that the data will come and it comes in a format that it is meaningful to use to anybody or to the data analyst. Sometimes or most times you find yourself do what we call data processing. So under this data processing, what you're doing is the fact that you are cleaning your data. Cleaning in the sense that sometimes the data might come, or you've collected the data and you realize that there are some missing values in the data, or there are some duplicates in the data, or by the time you are checking it, you realize that some values does not even make sense. They are not consistent. There's no form of consistency in the data that has been collected. So in the process phase now, before you move into analyzing your data, you're ensuring that the data that you have is meaningful enough to use, it is clean to use, or sometimes data might even be clean and you realize that what you have is not even sufficient enough to be able to answer the business problem. You cannot use it directly like that. There comes the fact that you need to be able to carry out some sort of data transformations. So, for example, now they give you a data set that has something to do with start date and end date, and you have a question that has to do with number of days. That kind of thing now will require that you are able to extract the number of days between the start and the end dates, right? So under this is what we call your data transformation. Any form of additional columns that you think is necessary for you to generate to be able to answer the business problem or to be able to answer the questions that have been generated initially comes under this processing. And also, even under this processing, you don't just clean your data or transform your data for the sake of doing sake. You have to be able to test what you have. You have to be able to verify that the cleanings that you've done or the transformations that you've done are accurate or they make lots of sense, right? Are we still following? Let me ensure that I'm not just speaking to myself. If you're still following, just give me a thumbs up quickly. Okay, great. Thank you for the reactions. All right, so moving on from this process phase now, we can now go into what we call the analyze. Let's call it the what we've been looking forward to, the haha moment in a way, like the exact thing the work we actually wanted to do from the very beginning. So in this analyze phase comes the fact that this is where you're now doing making use of your technical skills, or you're making use of some statistical tools, you're making use of some data analysis tools, and so on to be able to identify patterns, to be able to identify trends, to be able to make predictions, to be able to do all sorts of things to ensure that you're able to answer the questions that have been set from the very beginning. And one thing I would like to say at this point is that the data analysis process is very iterative, in such a way that you don't always go from ask, prepare, process, then to the next thing I'll talk about, right? Sometimes after this analyze phase, right, you don't actually need to go to the next phase. It might require you to go back to your drawing board and confirm that did you actually get the right data sets from the very beginning? Or do you need to generate more data sets to be able to answer the business problems? So all of these things do not happen in a very unidirectional way. Some things can go first, and later on you find yourself going back to the previous stages that you've passed. Yes, so like I said, under this analyze phase, you're making use of your data analysis tools. So example of those that I mentioned before could be like your Excel, your Google Sheets, your SQL, or even your data visualization, business intelligence tools. So I'm making use of all of those things to be able to identify patterns, to be able to draw conclusions, to be able to identify trends in the data that you have. All right, so this is the fourth phase that I mentioned, right? So moving on now, for a data analyst, the work doesn't just end there. You don't just analyze your data and that's all. No, it doesn't end there. After this analyze phase, there's something we call the share and the act. So for a data analyst now, you've been able to identify some patterns and all of those things. You need to be able to ensure that the insights that you want to that you've noticed or you've generated are presented in a way that it is meaningful to whoever will be working with, whoever needs the information. Trying to ensure that the data set is it's easy to understand, like your insights are very easy to understand and easy to communicate to others. And this comes in the form of probably making use of some visualization. For example, the dashboard that we saw earlier as well is a form of you working on how you're able to present your insights, you're able to share your data in a way that it's very easy to understand. Essentially, on that share, it comes in the form of like you bringing your data to life. See the example we talked about earlier, for example, where I first of all showed a data set in the form of like a rows and columns table format. And later on, we're seeing a dashboard. You could see that at the beginning, it was not easy for us to generate insights from it because all we are seeing are just text and figures. But by the time it was converted into slides, into visuals, we're able to easily understand what the data was talking about. Essentially, that is what the sharing is about. And it also doesn't end there. That's where we have the act. You don't just do it for doing sake, right? The insight doesn't end at the fact that you've been able to generate the insights from it. No, have you been able to communicate to the necessary stakeholders to ensure that whatever recommendation that you are generating from the data that you've analyzed will be the organization will be working on it to ensure that they're able to solve the problem that arose from the very beginning? Are they able to make decisions based on the recommendations or even based on the insights that you've given them? That's where the terminology of data-driven decisions come in. So if you're probably just learning data analysis or you started learning data analysis, you always see people talk about the fact that they want to be able to make data-driven decisions, right? So the data-driven decisions come under the act phase, ensuring that organizations are able to solve their problems, are able to apply your insights to just essentially to be able to solve the problems, just like you mentioned. So all of these things will happen on an everyday basis, or maybe not everyday basis, but it happens in data analysis life cycle. What a data analysis does consistently from time to time by working as a data analyst. So there could be days whereby all you're doing is just working on preparing your data or processing your data before you even moving to process before you even move to analyze it, or you're having meetings upon meetings to ensure that you are certain you're asking the appropriate questions before you even move ahead to working on the data analysis. All right, so at this point, let me confirm once again, are we still following? If you are, just give me a thumbs up. All right, great. Now that we know what a data analyst does on a day-to-day basis, I'm going to use some sort of example just to be able to see what I'm trying to talk about. So this is an example of a project that a data analytics consultant or data analytics consultant with Amdari has worked on. So for example, we have this product analytics project. Essentially, you're working with you're working with this organization called Nexalink, and they want to be able to implement performance monitoring dashboards to monitor user adoption and engagement on VenBridge app. So now, um, based on this topic that we have now, I've not given the topic already. Can anybody kind of like give me a one sentence statement? Or no, before that, no, let me even go to the business problem. It'll be easier for us that way. So now let's talk about this problem in summary. This organization has launched their products. Let's say you're working for an organization and they launched their products into the market just 3 months ago. And afterwards, essentially, it is important that they're able to track the performance of the products, right? People don't just work on products alone just for the sake of working on it. They want to be able to ensure that the product is actually working appropriately, or probably they need to be able to improve some things by on the product. All of those things that to ensure that they're able to scale up to having much more users than what they currently have within the first 3 months, right? And this will come for the fact that it's very important for them to be able to do what to be able to understand how well or how bad this product is currently performing in the market, for them to be able to make some sort of decisions to ensure that there's improvement in the product that they launched, right? So now with this business problem now, we can kind of like give an example, or kind of like walk through the data analysis process from the beginning to the end. So for example, now we've said this is the business problem, right? The next thing is that we're able to find out what the data is talking about. So we're able to generate the data the data will need to be generated, or data will need to be collected to ensure that we are able to answer the question of being able to monitor the performance of the products within the first 3 months of its launch. So now, let me just give an example. Let me share this instead. Please confirm that you can still see my screen. All right, so we have this event bridge data currently, right? And then you can see information of like data, region, device, total app installs, user sign-ups, daily active users, the number of transactions that has been done from the product, the uninstall rate, number of app crashes, and all of this average time spent. So I have all of this information. But for the product team, it's very difficult for them to make to deduce insights from this, because all we're seeing are just figures, 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 right? So the data analysts now, you'll be provided with these data sets, and you need to prefer, or you need to give insights and also give recommendations to the product team. So this is an example of a project that data analysis consultants in Amdari has worked on. So now for the first one, we said, okay, they've been able to define what the business problem is, starting from the ask phase, right? Next thing is your prepare. You are getting the data, you're ensuring that the data that you've collected is also organized. This is already organized. There might be situations whereby data might be highly disorganized. For example, your device is not the way it is very structured like this might not look appropriate. Like this now, we can still even see the rows and columns appropriately. You see some data and it will ultimately scare you first to be able to even know where to move ahead while working on the data. Next thing now, you are working on your cleaning, your processing, or your transformation as is necessary for you to be able to deduce insights from it. Then move on to working with a tool for you to be able to analyze your data, to be able to get insights from it. For example, now, all right, so yeah, so I was going to ask, how do you convert this data into meaningful insights for the product team? And that comes from you following the data analysis process. I already showed the data sets earlier. So this is an example of a submission by one of the data analysis consultants here at Amdari. So for example, now you see that, okay, from just working on this data sets that we have, they've been able to give very insightful. They've been able to give a dashboard that is very easy to uh, understand what the data is talking about. So, for example, now we could see that on this screen now, the data analyst has worked on it and realized that within the current month, the current number of app installs that they have is about 1.9 million, right? And in the previous month as well, we can see the numbers. And also, we are able to see that in a particular month, or compared to the previous month, we're able to see the difference between what we have, what the number of app installs are for the current month compared to the previous month. Just a minute, sorry. All right, so moving on now, in addition to those insights, could see things like the average daily uninstalls, the total user sign-ups, the user sign-up rates, the churn rate, and all of those things. Please give me a minute. I want to share the full dashboard with us so that you're able to see the information correctly, or such a way that's very easy to read what is on the entire screen. All right, can we still see my screen? If you can't, just give me a thumbs up. All right, great. So this is an example of a project that was worked on using Tableau. This is a data visualization tool, for example. So in the dashboard, now you could see like things like the total app installs. We have an increase by 9% compared to the previous month. We also have the total user sign up rate, the total user sign-offs, the user sign-up rate as well, the average daily app crashes. What we're seeing from the data sets where we're just seeing the rows and the columns, right? We could see that for this particular month now, which is August, we have 147 crashes, and this is even increased compared to the previous month. We also have some trends here, some line charts here showing the total app installs over time. You could see also the trends for the total user sign-offs. You could also see things like number of app crashes and many other things like that. In the second page of the dashboard, also could see things like the average daily active user, the total transaction, average time spent per user. So essentially now, for a data analyst, you've been able to you've been able to work on the data set and also do all the necessary data transformation, data cleaning to ensure that you're able to extract meaningful information from it. And like I said, you don't stop just at working on the data on the dashboard alone or on the reports alone. You're ensuring that the kind of reports after working on the data, you're able to generate insights that will be very useful for the technical team or even to to the product team. So for example, now if we take a look at this was a report that was generated by a data analyst here at Amdari, giving introduction, the methodology, data preparation, and also key insights from the analysis. So on a day-to-day basis, this is what a data analyst does. And also at the end of the day, you're ensuring that we are providing recommendations, strategic recommendations for the organization for them to know what exactly they need to prioritize and how they should move on uh, in the following months. So yes, that is essentially what a data analyst does on a day-to-day basis. Moving on now, I'd just like to talk about some key things that would help us as well as a data analyst or even working in other spaces in the technical area, right? We have some sort of job boards that you can always go to ensure that you're able to get jobs. For example, in the UK, we have read.co.uk. We have the UK visa jobs. For the UK visa jobs, for example, they're able to give is a job board that provides information on jobs that are able to provide sponsorships to immigrants, right? So for Amdari now, we have a paid access to these UK visa jobs. This is something that we always make available to our consultants through the job board that we have. So by Amdari subscribing for this through our own Amdari job board from the website, we're able to provide the kind of jobs that people can apply to. This has already been searched for data analysts. It's possible to also search for other roles, but since this discussion is focusing on data analysis, where I'm showing this. So for example, now this data auditing data analyst showing that visa sponsorship is likely. For this one at Sega, showing that visa sponsorship is highly likely, and so on, like that. We also have other job boards that you can check. For example, Glassdoor, Indeed, Remote.co, Well Found, LinkedIn, and so on, like that. Just a minute, let me show you the Amdari job board. So for interns at Amdari, for consultants at Amdari, they have exclusive access to this Amdari job board. Just a minute, sorry. All right, so this is the Amdari job board where we're able to provide we're able to show the kind of jobs that you can apply to. This is not sorted correctly. This is showing data scientists, data analysts, senior data analysts in Europe, and all of those things. So for Amdari, for consultants or for interns at Amdari, we have access to this job board. All right, so moving on from that now, I also like to talk about that fact, like I said at the beginning, for a data analyst, your work would continue to remain essential. You will not see data analysts going extinct in in any century from now, or in any close century from now. So by searching online, you see that the average range of data analyst salary in the UK varies by location. For example, in London, the range goes from about £45,000 to 120. In North, goes from about 40 to 60. So based on the current rules, or based on the current immigration laws, we will also see that said that for data analysts, the organization needs to be able to pay for about £41,700. Yes, for the minimum data analyst salary in the UK. All right. So now we've talked about the different your data, how a data analyst is essential, what we do on a day-to-day basis, talking about how we can get jobs and all. The ultimate question still lies in the fact that, are we able to get the job? Are we able to even get the job? So which comes first? If I ask you, is it the fact that you got the job, or you have an experience to get the job, or for you to be able to get the job, which one is what is very essential? Do you have the experience, or you just go straight into getting the job? Francis, yes, thank you, Francis. Francis is experience. So in today's market, you see that most organizations would ask you, even for entry level roles, it will require the fact that they want you to have an experience. Thank you, Titilayo. Titilayo also says experience. You need the experience to get a job. And we can't blame them, right? From statistics or from research says that for most entry level roles, it requires about 1 to 3 years for you to be able to get a role, even for entry level roles. No previous experience is very, very difficult to get a job, even an entry level job, without any previous experience. For about at least one, people requesting for at least 1 year goes for about 36%, at least 2 years, 20%. But ultimately, they would be requesting you to have about 1 to 3 years of work experience, or even have an experience to show that you're able to do the job. And this is because there is, from what has been showed through research, says that we can't actually afford these people. It is very difficult to prove that you are able to do the job, because there's no form of experience to show that you have the right technical skills, or you have the right soft skills, or the right credentials for you to be able to work on the jobs. And we can actually blame them in a way. Let me ask you this question quickly. Let's say you want a wedding dress and you want a suit as well, and you have two tailors that has been that is pitching to you. One says that I have a certificate from a tailoring school, I can get your suit done for you, or your wedding dress done for you. And another says that, don't worry, you can trust me. Let me show you some wedding dresses or some wedding suits that I've done before, then you can make your choice. So now, if you were the one, which of these tailors would you actually go for? Is it tailor A that says certificate alone, or tailor B that shows that, oh, I actually have the experience, I have done something like that in the past? All right, Francis says tailor B, thank you for that. Chiniram says tailor B as well. Oyewale says tailor B. Titilaya says tailor B as well. Everybody will actually agree that you would go for the second tailor that says that they have the experience. Same thing happens to organization. We can't fault them for saying that, oh, we don't just want a person with certificates. We go for somebody that has an experience over somebody that says that they have an experience alone. Tailor B might even have a certificate as well. But the fact that he's able to showcase that I have done something like that in the past will make you want to go for this second person. Same thing applies to other works as well, in the formal working environment, and the formal space, and the white collar jobs. So now, also it says that 91% of employers will value experience over just your credentials alone, over just your education alone, over the fact that you've gone to school alone. Yes, and we all agreed to this earlier as well. So recruiters are looking for proof of value, and not just the potential that you are able to do this particular thing. And the fact that you're able to showcase that you have that experience means that you're able to tell the organization that you have stronger technical skills, you have a higher quality of work. You're also able to showcase the fact that You're able to work independently or even in teams. You're also able to tell them know that you have the ability to learn faster on the job, right? And other things like your behavioral skills, your soft skills, and there's less need for managerial capacity to train or mentor. This is one of the reasons why is less companies, more companies, less companies in the long run continue to go for roles that would not require you just learning on the job. For example, your internships. You could see in recent trends that number of internship positions has reduced, and that is because there is less number of less capacity to be able to train or mentor a person. That is why this experience is very important, and also you're able to tell the organization there's highly likelihood that you are able to stay with them for a longer period of time. So for applicants with work experience, it's very much assumed that they have all of these things that I've mentioned. So if I've mentioned all of these things, and the question now still goes back to you that, okay, if you already have the certificate before and you've done this thing, you've or taking some sort of courses before to be able to learn the skill. Probably you've made use of Coursera to learn data analysis, you've made use of YouTube to learn business analysis, or make use of skill learn, all of those things. Why are you still now trying to get more and more certificates just to be able to prove that you are able to do the job rather than looking for where you're able to get the experience? So this is where Amdari exists. So just stay with me to the end. So for Amdari now, Amdari gives you the opportunity to empower your career growth. It gives you the opportunity to work hands-on on projects. It gives you the mentorship that you need to be able to succeed. It gives many other things I was still mentioned in the long run. So for you to be able to mitigate the earlier problem of, oh, I want to get a job, but I need the experience, and that gives you the experience, then ensure that you're able to get the job as well. So in Amdari has this internship system that is built to help you as a person thrive. And for Amdari is the only platform that I can confidently say is that we guarantee you the work experience. So about Amdari in summary again, with Amdari, we know that there is a gap between theoretical learning and getting the job, right? So in Amdari tries to bridge that gap for people, for Africans or even people in Africa, people in diaspora, to ensure that they're able to build their career in the way that they have that industry standard level to ensure that they're able to get a job. And we offer programs in different areas. Could be data analysis, which I talked about earlier today, could be data science, could be data engineering, could be business analysis, project management, SOC analyst, ethical hacking and pen testing, or even GRC. The SOC, ethical hacking, and GRC falls under cybersecurity programs, right? So at Amdari, our vision is to ensure that we help people acquire industry experience and also the industry knowledge that is able to satisfy their potential employers. So now for the work experience program, it could be you. Say, for example, you might be the Amina on this call, or you might be the Moses on this call. That, for example, it could be you, the Amina, that has just relocated to another country for their master's. And after you are done with your master's, realize that you need to get a job. And the fact that you even just did your master's does not even guarantee you the job because you need the work experience. Or it could be Moses that has spent maybe 5 to 6 years or less than that working as a customer representative, and you recently just started your career. You recently just started your journey into cybersecurity. You paid for boot camps, you paid for certifications, you've done multiple online courses, have access to multiple online resources. But even with that, you're still not able to get the job because you lack the hands-on experience that recruiters want. So Amdari helps you rebrand yourself. Amdari helps you rebrand such a way that you're able to get this job based on two things. One, project-based experience, and also the employability skills. So you don't just work on projects that showcase that showcase your knowledge of the use of those tools, but also the fact that you want to ensure that you have those skills that are employable. So soft skills, technical skills, all of these matter as well. So Like I said, to get a job offer, you require this technical skills and experience, and also the employability skills. And this is how we do it. For you, for our interns at Amdari, or people also call our consultants at Amdari, you work on industry relevant projects. You work on projects that has been designed based on actual business challenges, and then you're able to work on these business challenges rather by yourself alone or even in groups, and sometimes cross-functionally with other teams. So for example, could be a data analyst working with the data scientists or data engineers, as the case may be, or a project manager working with the cybersecurity consultants, and so on like that. So after you work on this project, you also ensure that you are able to present the work that you've done. You're able to get feedback that you've done. You get your project is evaluated, and you get recommendations to ensure that you're not just working on this project for working sake. You're working on it in such a way that for every next project that you work on, you are better than the first one. That is the ultimate goal. So after all of this, you're able to add the project that you've worked on to your portfolio and also to your LinkedIn as well. And with this, with addition to this as well, you are at Amdari, we help our interns or our consultants revamp their CV such that, or that, and their LinkedIn as well, so that they're able to apply to jobs. And once they get shortlisted for interview, we have interview prep sessions such that you're ultimately able to prepare yourself adequately to land that role. So in summary, what does Amdari offer to you in addition to your project skill, your technical skills, the project I've been working on? We have the CV revamp and CV review. We have the LinkedIn optimizations that we do for our interns or consultants. We help you to navigate the job market. We also help you with interview preparations. We help you with mentorship sessions. We have mentorship sessions every week with topics that are very essential to your success as a consultant with us at Amdari. Then also you get job reference letter. You get letter of in that at any point in time you apply for a job and they ask you to provide reference. Amdari is able to provide that reference to you. And even beyond your time at Amdari, you still have access to Amdari for the next 2 years to be able to get that work reference. Then lastly, we also help you with on-the-job support. So for the first few months you just start your job, we are ensuring that you do not just dump you to that role. At any point in time you're feeling lost, you can always reach out for us to provide you with any form of on-the-job support that you need to be successful in the role that you've gotten. All right, all talks, but easier when there's evidence. Evidence speaks louder than all the stories that I've mentioned. So this is Jerry. We'll talk about Jerry quickly. So Jerry he is a data analyst now. He entered our program in June. And for Jerry, when he entered Amdari, he, just like anybody on this call, you realize that you need the experience or you want to be able to develop your skills more to get a job. And within the first 2 months at Amdari, Jerry was able to land a job. You can see from the testimonial message he sent to the specialist. He said, I just wanted to let you know that I've landed a data analyst job within the civil service. I was asked to prepare a presentation on any data analyst project that I worked on, and all he did was to make some minor tweaks to the project that I worked on with us here at Amdari, and able to do the presentation on that project. Basically just a repetition of what he has done at Amdari, because at Amdari, for every project that you work on, you also have to be able to present on it, to be able to get feedback on the work. So he said he spoke on the healthcare project when they also asked about the data acquisition during the interview, and ultimately he was thanking a specialist that thank you for the work, for your mentorship. I take your flowers, I beg. All right, so quickly let us just hear from Jerry. Just know that you could be Jerry any day, anytime from now as well if you join Amdari.
I've recently landed a job as a data analyst within the
Please,
civil
can we
service,
hear you?
and I would say that this wouldn't have been possible without the support.
Sorry, was that audible? Okay, Thank you, Veronica. Let me just go back to playing it.
I've recently landed a job as a data analyst within the civil service, and I would say that this would have been possible without the support, the mentorship, and the community here at Amdari. Hi, everyone. My name is Jerry Olatoyo, and I just wanted to share a quick word about my journey as a data analyst consultant at Amdari and how this program has immeasurably helped and shaped me when it comes to data analysis. And before joining, I would say that I had a passion and some skills, but I needed something more, something way beyond just having the skills. I needed to have the real world industry experience. And this is what I got at Amdari. I was able to work on actual projects that made a difference when it comes to the business world. But then I had the chance to work with cross-functional teams. At the time, I was asked to lead a team, which I did. And this helped me when it comes to, managing people, instilled in me confidence in managing project end to end. And when it comes to delivering insight that make an impact. And this program had exposed me to variety of tools used in industry, Excel, Power BI, Tableau, SQL, and then I was able to apply all these tools to solve real world problems. And this gave me the experience employers are looking for. And I could say that these are the things that I use when it comes to applying for jobs, and also when it comes to engaging interviewers during interviews. And one of the takeaways that I would say was during this program was resilience, because there was challenges along the way, moments where I had to push through. Of course, working on some bugs in the data. At the time, I had to manage different priorities, and then I had to manage deadlines just to make sure that I was able to submit the project. As at when due, it is amazing, it's fantastic. Like you really get value in this program, I would say. And honestly, it's been a rewarding journey. I am really grateful. I want to encourage anyone, whether you're thinking of doing this or you're in this already, just trust the process, stay consistent, and you're going to see the result.
All right, so that's Jerry for us, and not just Jerry alone has been able to get a job. Take a look at this, for example. This is a reference request for one of the interns or one of the consultants that I currently take care at Amdari, dated 22nd of September. She recently just got a job as a junior data analyst, and they reached out to us that they would like us to fill a reference form for her to ensure that contract can she can get the complete job offer. At the moment, it was just conditional. So this is an intern that started with us earlier in the year as well. And by September, she has been able to get a job. For Jerry, for example, now let's just take a quick look at our Google Classroom that will make use of to communicate with our interns, our consultants for their projects. So Jerry started with us in June, for example, and he worked on this project called Optimizing Order Fulfillment for Streamlined Logistics. So if I take a look at the people that actually worked on the project, for example, just a minute. So if you take a look at people we have in our classroom here, you would see that we have Jerry here, and he was able to work on the project and also get feedback from his mentor, which is the data analyst specialist that has been assigned to him. That is why he sent a message regarding, okay, here we can see Jerry Olatoyo. So he's one of our specialists here at Amdari, and now he has been able to get a job within the civil service, currently working as a data analyst. So again, you could be the Jerry one day. You could be the Jerry one day. All right, so moving on, we're almost close to the end. This is an opportunity for you to join the next cohort. Final opportunity actually to get in the next cohort that will be starting 4th of October. So by 4th of October, we'll be having the onboarding for the next cohort. So you could be that person joining the Amdari. And like I said, it's not just data analysis alone. If you've learned some other tools earlier, not necessarily data analysis, it could be data science, it could be business analysis, it could be project management, cybersecurity, and all of those ones. So you can join the Amdari Work Experience Program for you to be the next Jerry at Amdari. All right, so for you to be able to join our next cohort, we currently offer a discounted amount of £390, where you get 4 months work experience, whereas you're actually paying for 3 months. So like I said, what's in it for you? You work on projects, you get your CV and LinkedIn revamped by a employability specialist. You also have interview mastery preparations, you have interview prep sessions. We also have access to our remote job board, including providing information from our UK visa jobs, which requires sponsorship, which requires subscription. Then also you're able to develop your personal portfolio. From the Amdari page, you get opportunity to have a portfolio that you have access to for life. And also you're able to get an international work reference letter. International because Amdari is registered in 2 different countries. Amdari is registered in London, UK, and also in Canada as well. So whether you want the UK work experience or the Canada work experience, you get it from Amdari and also get a reference letter for it. And also we have mentorship sessions every Thursday from industry experts and also career coaching sessions. So if you want to join the next cohort, you're able to also make this payment in installments. For the next 3 months, you just pay £130 every 3 months. And also we have the main stack page where you're able to make your payment. Yes. All right. So I'm sure we already have lots of people that says they want to grab their spots. They want to join the Amdari work experience program. Just to be able to do that, you would see the link that has been sent to the WhatsApp to the chat now. To the chat box, you would see the link for you to be able to make your payment. And also, if at any point in time you want to get the link to it later on, please ensure that you fill the attendance form so that you have access to these slides that have made use for the presentation, so that you always have access to the link for payment, and also where you're able to reach out to us. From the payment link, you have the opportunity to know where to fill the form. For example, this is the payment link in the main stack, for example. So for this now, you have a direct link to chat with Amdari. You also have the payment registration form. But even before you fill the payment registration form, you can first come down here. For example, this is for data analytics work experience. I can click on secure your internship. You can also check the other programs as well. So for example, for this data analytics, when you click on this secure your internship, it will take you to the page. You're able to make your payment. Then afterwards, you can come back to this form that you see here, this payment registration form, to fill in your details after you filled the form. And you can also click on the link that says chat with Amdari if you have any question for you to if you have any question that you want to ask. Yes. All right, so thank you very much, everybody. If you have any question, you can just let me know at this point in time.
So I have one small question.
Okay, go ahead, Afia.
Okay.
For
yes.
others, you can just raise your hand. Okay, I can see question already. So Afia, I can continue. Yeah, you can go ahead, Iboro. Not sure I got the
Okay.
correct
Can someone
pronunciation.
ask? I'll ask. I'm at work. Let me just do something. I'll still ask. Just give me a few minutes. So.
Okay. All right, Kwesi, you can.
Yeah. Okay. Good evening.
Good evening.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So my question is, for me, I think I've been to this chat before. I think 6 months ago. But my question is still with my job doesn't allow me to get this 4-month cohort job to be done. I work 12-hour shift. So my question is, those of us who don't have that luxury to be part of this program throughout, how best are you guys doing to assist us? Because when I work 12 hours, I go to work 7 and come to, home on 8 p.m. So the whole day I'll be at work, and I work for a 10-day shift. So my situation, I cannot be available to do the job every time. So I'm looking at how best are you guys doing to assist us, those of us who have jobs we have to do, and then also kind of get probably a weekend or to assist us do this kind of cohort jobs also. That's my question.
Okay, thank you for that, Chrissy. So we have multiple people like you as well. Of course, people are working and they just want to transition into the particular program that they're applying for, right? So the projects are not made in a way that you're not able to work on it. They don't have very short deadlines. At most, you have about 3 weeks to work on a particular project, so you have enough time to be able to work on it over the weekend. And even when you have trackers, they are not compulsory made that, okay, the task for the day, you have to do it that day. You can always run through the task that has been assigned to you over the weekend, and also ensure that, most importantly, you're in close communication with your specialist or your mentor, so that for every time you are not able to attend any session or you have some questions, you can always get prompt responses from them. And also, even from the classroom as well, for every session that is being hosted at Amdari, whether it is the employability sessions or even normal project sessions, the recordings will always be made available. Does that answer your question?
So in this case, it means that those of us who work can still enroll and still get it done in the 4 months period has been given.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Because the last time I asked, I can't remember. The last time I asked one, I was told at that moment they didn't have that kind of assessment to be give to those who